No,
yeah, there is that one, I suppose. I'll leave that for later.
Okay.
When I get really frustrated.
That's more the Bears territory.
Yeah, Muppets. I heard. What was I watching the other day when I heard someone shout "fucking"?
have grinded. They haven't. After this ball.
Wide from Morkel. Almost wide enough to be a wide, but probably not going to be signalled as one. Indeed not, although Jason is doing it for me to my left.
Which is why I'm saying that, it's a bowling wicket at the moment, certainly, because it's done something for all the bowlers. It's not just one bowler. I mean, Morkel in the last Test match, when he wasn't doing things for anybody else, was bowling brilliantly himself, but it wasn't doing anything for anyone else. Today, all the bowlers, even Maharaj has got turn, I have to say. There's something in it for all the bowlers.
He'll probably flatten out tomorrow when we're bowling. Here's Morkel again into the pads of Stokes, and he just helps it down to Philander at long leg and takes another single.
Well, as far as the grass is concerned, it has to be kept at the same length every day of a Test match.
I get the feeling this is maybe one day underprepared because of the weather in the week preceding.
Well, they've known about it for a couple of years, the dates, so you shouldn't really...
you can't tell what the weather's going to be,
but you can't. You can only work on it at certain times when it's not raining and...
When did it rain? It rained a lot on Saturday, didn't it? It really pissed it down on Saturday, and I was at a pub very near to the Oval, so yeah, there was that might have kept them off the pitch for a while. Cook waits, and Morkel is in again. 2 slips and a gully, and this one he rides as it rises up towards his ribs, and he plays it really nicely, almost like a leg glance off the back foot down to the long leg boundary for one of these.
It's Nissan Shi.
It's Nissan Shi.
It's Nissan Shi.
I like that. I do like that jingle. Very beautifully played by Cook, who's really just showing what a class batsman he is in this sort of circumstance.
Well, he's under no pressure at all, is he? He's just got
he's always under pressure. I mean, he's scored at 150, and he's had a couple of failures, complete failures in this series. He's got a 60 and a 40. He would want to do better than that. He pushes forward this time. The ball runs rapidly off the thick outside edge into the gully, and there's no run. I mean, those are not great figures by his standards, are they? I mean, 40, 60 and 2 threes, that he's averaging about 30 odd, and he's more of a 44, 45 sort of man, isn't he, really, by average? So he'll want to have done a little bit more, and he has done a little bit more. 76 of 71 balls. It's a great example in concentration to his teammates and to those younger members of the side. This one is left, as again it just nips off the pitch, but he knows what he's doing now, and he's prepared for it. Any more tweets?
Yep. Yes. Jeff Perkins just says Yossi, might.
Or what was that stuff they eat in? Vegemite. Yes, I was thinking of might. He
just smiled and gave me a Yosemite sandwich.
Ah, there you go. Song lyrics. Men at Work, is it?
Yes.
Is that down under?
Yes.
Ah, okay. All right. Here comes Morkel again, still operating around the wicket. Served him well, that angle into the left-hander, then trying to take it away. That's a full ball, and that's beautifully played by Cook. Opens the face. It was right up there, and he squeezed that out, and despite the despairing efforts...
It's the Brendan McCullum dive.
Bavuma, he won't get that, and it's 4 more runs.
Now my innings going, great guns, I hit the ball, 4 runs, I hit the ball, and it went for 4 runs.
We have more Yosemite news.
Oh, good.
Tony Bishop says, packing up and heading off to Sequoia today.
Sequoia?
We'll be with you as much as we can.
Ah, right, okay. So how long have you been out there, Tony? I mean, I know I got an email from you saying you were going to San Francisco, but I can't remember when you actually were heading off there. That sounds like good fun. What's the weather like? I imagine pretty good. Hot, indeed.
Well, the coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. Is a phrase attributed to Mark Twain, although I don't think he ever actually said it.
Oh, really?
It does get pretty nippy.
There are
isn't it called nicknamed Foxtown?
Is it? Philander will start his 12th over, bowling to Stokes from right over the wicket. without loss, 1 to Cook, 1 wide. Kemar Roach is the joint most experienced player at Test level in this West Indies team. He's playing his 38th Test.
Like Mr. Westley, Stoneman's bat is very well used.
Ah, well, that's good. It
almost looks older than him.
Makes the bowler
And
think.
he's not young.
He's our favourite. He's settling down and waiting for Roach. He goes wide on the crease, bowls full ball, which he strokes through the covers. That's not a bad shot to get off your mark in Test cricket. With that's going to run away all the way to the boundary. That should give him a bit of confidence. England moved to 6 without loss. Were you joined by anyone on the tweet sphere, Will?
Yes, I mean, I don't think we could go back for about 3 hours, but I don't think we will because our listeners like just to kind of send us witticisms. But an interesting first technical one from Paul Kemp is, are the pink balls waterproof? And that is a technical one that I have an opinion on, but I'll let you go first.
Well, what I will say is I was listening to some other station on my way over. Did you hear that same interview?
I might have done, yeah.
They were talking about that the red balls do have a sort of layer of grease which helps their water-resistant qualities. Here comes Roach in, bowls to Stoneman. Stoneman's forward to a good length ball on the line of off stump, and it skews away square of the wicket into the covers, and there is no run. But the pink balls have only what they call it a pigment. I don't understand what that means, but that means they can't get the grease on, so it doesn't shine as well as the red ball, apparently. That's what I was being told by the assembled experts on the radio this morning.
One thing about these pink ball tests, the run rate's incredible. I mean,
it's amazing.
9 and over they go at
Absolutely, I would
in England.
I think they should play all games with pink balls at whatever time of the day. Has a pink ball against a white sight screen? How does that show up that well? I'm not sure.
Oh, do they need to change the colour of the sight screen?
What would they do? What would be an opposing colour? He's in again, bowls on his leg stump, and he's clipped that away through square leg. He's really timed that. There's no one out there at all, and that has raced away to the boundary for Stoneman's second 4.
Seems to us that it's in force.
Even quicker than that, Fred. 10 without loss. 5 balls bowled, and in fact, is that including the wide? The wide? I guess it is. Clip that at sort of catchable height, just past the square leg umpire.
It's a decent T20 start, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no one there.
First 5
yes, it feels like a T20. Not T20, it feels more like a one-day international,
My
doesn't
brother's
it?
just texted me to say, is this some kind of an elaborate spot-the-ball competition?
Here comes Roach to complete his first over, and this one is fuller, angled across the left-handed Stoneman. He leaves it alone. And at the end of the first over of the first day-night test in England are 10 without loss. Any more tweets? Got to speak into the microphone while you're doing that as well.
Yes.
Kind of help.
Good afternoon to messengers. Only one session for you tonight. Need the Grills to squeeze their tales of glorious victory on Sunday into more than 1 2-hour float.
There you go. What do you think of it? If you're watching on Facebook Live, what do you think of our wonderful trophy? It's rather
what
nice,
was Hiscox's figures?
Hiscox 6 for 17. Would you believe it?
Because you wouldn't know it to look at him.
You wouldn't. He was an absolute demon. He did this strange thing. It's basically bowling a good length and straight, and that seemed to.
What does he bowl? A seam or
sort of off breaks, really.
Off breaks,
yeah. Anyway, the new bowler at the other end is going to be a young man from Antigua, the Leeward Islands. It is indeed this man.
Can't find him.
All right, well,
here
it's
he
Cook going to face him.
Alzarri Joseph.
The theme is on these
Alzarri Joseph.
Well, I should tell you that we've got the whole of the West Indies team in dub, done by Men with Ven.
Oh, that's what that was.
We've probably got we've got some others from Perco and Mog, I would imagine. Though the Bear's been working feverishly to get the jingles transferred. Feverishly, yes. So that was the first ball from Joseph. He's in again to Cook. It's down the leg side, a little bit short. Well, I'm not sure whether he was really playing at that, but just pushing away at it. It goes down the leg side. It's taken by Shane Dowrich, who is the wicket keeper. They could choose from two, because I think Shai Hope keeps wicket as well. But it is Dowrich that they've gone with today. And, well, as I said, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that as Joseph turns again, showed up well in the West Indies in some one-dayers not so long ago against England. This is pushed back up to mid-off Jason Holder, the captain. Fields. Yes, I think something like... I did the calculation earlier in the week that the total number of runs scored by this West Indies team that's out there today is something like 3,000 fewer than those scored by Alastair Cook alone in Test cricket, which gives you some idea of the level of experience. Here comes Joseph again into Cook. Cook gets this one off the outside edge. It was one of those ones where he's turned around and jumps a little bit, but that's really flown away. Has beaten the man to the third man boundary in its first 4 for Alastair Cook.
It's me, says she. It's me, says she.
I think Cook was half... Oh, what's this? Half beaten now, I thought.
Well, he plays like that, doesn't he? A lot of the time. He's going back to balls that he probably should be forward to, and you see he does that little jump, doesn't he?
Got no technique.
But it served him okay, pretty well through his 145 tests. Waits again for Alzarri Joseph. 3 slips, and all this comes back into him ever so slightly, and he chops down at it at the last minute. Angling it into the gully, and there is no run.
Well, you say his technique has worked well for him, but I would imagine that nobody in English Test history has got out more often than he has in Test matches, has he?
Well, on the basis that he played...
yeah,
on the basis that he played 140 plus
he's the
tests.
worst England Test batsman of all time. He's got out more than anybody else.
Who's got the most noughts? I think Atherton had the most noughts. I think Atherton had the world record for the most noughts for quite a long time.
Yeah,
until somebody like Downey Mawson overtook him, but it's damning with faint praise, isn't it?
This is defended back, all the way back up the pitch. In fact, so straight that it hits the wicket at the far end. It's the end of Joseph's first over. There was a little bit of in-swing for him there, not anything dramatic. And England are 14 without lost. Tweets.
Well, I better catch up, hadn't I? Jeff Perkins, are you all wearing pink? Pink knickers, anything?
I've got orange socks. Does that help?
No.
Sort of pink, isn't it? Orange.
Morning, lads. This message is a demon diva of Dulwich to your right hendo. That must be not Fred.
Oh, not Fred. Not Fred.
Demon diva?
I turned around and there was an edge. I mean, obviously it was too thick an edge for me to catch his wicketkeeper. I turned around and there was it was like a tree falling in the forest. Nobody heard it, but we certainly saw it. And down went Fred to his left, grasped it. Inches from the turf.
Oh, Demon Diver, not Demon Diva.
Demon Diver, that was him. That was him. He was a bit of a diva as well. Foolish ball, he's bowled him! He's bowled him! Kemar Roach has ended Mark Stoneman's debut test. First ball of his second over, and England are no nearer to solving this quandary of opening batsman. He started confidently with 2 boundaries, but he's been beaten by that one. It's nipped the off bail, and England are 14 for 1.
I'm not sure what happened there.
No, it's one of the best balls you'll ever see. I think it's what's happened.
He just missed a straight one.
Well, I know.
Somewhere between the two, probably.
He's played slightly inside it, has taken his off stump out, so he's gone for 8 with only 6 balls faced. That really doesn't help us at all, does it?
150.
Yeah, he's got a good strike rate. He's got a good strike rate in Test cricket. We can say that for him.
Did it flick the pad on the way?
I don't think so. I didn't get that impression, but we'll have another look at it in a minute. We've gone to some adverts for the time being.
It's a bit rough.
But that's not a particularly funny joke, I'm afraid, Fred. People will be misunderstanding it if they're listening to us. Back to the tweets. Any more?
More cricket at night with a pink ball. I won't cop it more than 20 or 30 times a year. Shit time zone for it, though.
Yeah, well, we're worried about you guys in Australia because you'll be going to bed, won't you? But
if they had the day-night test in Perth, that would be brilliant for England because it would kick off like 6 o'clock in the morning.
I know.
7 in the morning.
Well, we've got Adelaide, which we're going to see lots of here, and we're going to get Perth, which is we see a lot of
pretty
anyway.
much the same time.
So we're actually going to get quite a lot of.
I don't know. I think Perth is the worst time for England from my point of view. It starts at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but if you're getting up in the morning to go to work, you can see an hour or so while you're getting ready.
And the Adelaide basically shifts Adelaide to Perth time, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I think we're going to see a bit more action without having to be completely crepuscular.
Anyway, out to the middle comes the England replacement, number 3. It is this man.
Is it?
There will be a substantial reward for the one who finds the Millennium Falcon.
Goes back to this, defends square into the covers.
It's necessary, but I want them alive. No disintegration.
As you wish.
That day, she was amazed to discover that when he was saying "as you wish," what he meant was, "I love you."
Well, looking at that ball from behind Mark Stoneman, it looks to me as if it wobbled in towards him, pitched, and then seamed away. A cracking delivery, as Will said. That's a horrible one to get early in your Test career. I wonder how he'll be feeling about his Test career. He's gone back, he's hit 2 nice 4s, and then suddenly he's found himself back in the pavilion. This is too wide, though full, and left alone by Tom Westley. That is the name of the new batsman, if that jingle didn't actually convey that to you. Didn't do it for me either. It's pitched on leg.
Oh, this is a
outside leg.
Oh.
It's a cracking delivery.
This is ball of the century. Yeah, maybe that's a bit sweeping.
Well,
having said that, the bat comes down at a bit of a...
Oh, don't give me that.
No, it does.
No, not really. Not really, because he's turned around slightly anyway as left-hand batsman facing a man right over the wicket. Here comes Roach again. Full ball, and there's that rather fluent clip off his legs by Westley. He does like to milk that one with a sort of little bit of a pose at the end of it, but he's found only mid-on, and there is no
I don't
run.
think he's getting many in county cricket like that, though. That's the step up right there. He's just kind of saying, I haven't seen one of those balls for a while.
Well, Cook is on 5, Stoneman's gone for 8, Westley yet to score. We've got Root, Malan, Stokes, Bairstow, Moeen Ali, Roland-Jones kept his place. As we see Viv, my mate Viv, sitting up there in the, one of the stands. I'm not sure who he's
in the
sitting next
with his
to.
dark glasses on.
Roach again into Westley, going wide on the crease, trying to take it away from him, but he's left that alone outside.
So do we have the benefit of Viv's second names, just for the people who are...
Oh, Viv, you mean Isaac and Vivian... Alexander Richards, I think.
Just in case, for our newbies. Right, Jay Grover's joined us for the first time today. Good afternoon, hope you all have a jolly nice day, jolly good day. Jane with the Y's also tweeted in, good morning, this is our official lunch right now. There's a mass of cinnamon swirls. Is there something I should know about? Anyway,
sounds
that's
good
what
to me.
she's having for lunch.
Final ball to Roach is successful over, very wide on the crease, and beats him as he presses forward. And he's creating that angle by going wide and then trying to nip it away off the seam. And he's been quite successful in that over, totally successful in getting rid of one of England's opening batsmen. And England are 14 for 1. What a delivery. Kemar Roach, 37 tests. But looking as if it's his 60th. It really has seemed that, hasn't it? When you see it again from behind, it's the angle is into the legs and then it goes away. Tremendous delivery. Tweets.
Guten Tag from Berlin, says Mike Mihalwood. Has anyone worked out where in the world one would have to be for this match to be normal time? It's kind of halfway across the Atlantic, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. So, well, maybe...
somewhere in between Cornwall and New York, I think.
The Azores is somewhere out there, isn't it? In the Atlantic.
But you feel free to let us know that. But I think...
tucked away by Cook through mid-wicket. He's timed that really nicely. There's a man off in pursuit, and it is going to reach the mid-wicket boundary. It's another 4. The 4s are flowing, the wickets are going, and England are 18 for 1.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Yeah.
It's a good one from Paul Kemp. Anyone know of an ideal par score with pink balls? And the thrilling one in Adelaide a couple of years ago against New Zealand, they were all about the 270 mark. 220 to 270 was kind of, and it was a good test match, and Australia won it by about 3 or 4 wickets. So I'd have said probably maybe taking off about 50 or 60 runs.
Okay.
Very, very hard to generalise from what's been
that.
What's been, 2 test matches? What have we had?
No, we've had a few. Here's Holder again, and it's almost as if Cook had to wait for that. It was... in the end, he sort of dabbed it into the covers and probably thought to himself, I might have been able to play a more attacking shot to that. As it is, there is no run. Well,
there was one where Pakistan against West Indies, Pakistan scored about 600, and then West Indies actually nearly won it, chasing down about 450.
And that was the one in Dubai.
That was a wonderful match.
That was in Dubai.
Hung in there, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, so they actually have experience of playing pink ball tests. He's in again, Joseph, and this time Cook is right forward, pushing up to Holder at mid-off.
I'm not sure if a day-night test in Dubai has that much in common, apart from the colour of the ball, than a day-night match in Edgbaston.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be a lot slower and lower in Dubai, generally speaking. And apparently, I mean, you would hope that would... I mean, we've seen games played in Dubai and other parts of the UAE where there's been almost nobody there. unless Pakistan's are playing on a Friday, as this is jabbed backward of square, and we get a crowd comes in after morning prayers. But in general terms, you don't get much of a crowd, and the attempt to play the day-night test in Dubai apparently wasn't very good. That said, maybe the West Indies just aren't attractive enough opposition these days. I don't know.
I mean, the reason of having day-night test matches in England and Australia is to make sure that the crowd is good. I don't suppose that's much of a criterion in the UAE, so why have it at all?
Well, I mean, it depends what the average working day in Dubai is, doesn't it? Joseph in again, full of ball. He reaches that beautifully and caresses it through the covers. Not often you can say that about Alastair Cook. It's not always as beautiful as that, but it's run away to the extra cover boundary for 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4.
That wasn't a full half volley either, but just beautifully played. And the pink ball looks no different than the red ball to Alastair Cook as he advances further.
Mike's answering his own question. He thinks we're 3.5 hours behind regular, but we're not, are we? We're 3. But he's thinking Iceland or Tenerife. So if you're in Iceland or Tenerife, let us know and tell us that we're now right in your groove.
Onto the back foot, and he chops that again. Backward as square. Cook is in great nick by the looks of things. That's a runaway also for 4. England racing to 30 for 1. More tweets.
Not Fred, have you got the Kemar Roach Need for Speed jingles that asks Alec Patton?
I found a few.
Okay, if you
and I'm
could
trying to load them
that
up.
one out, that'd be lovely.
Let's see what we've got here. There's this one.
You know I smoked a lot of grass.
Oh, I like it.
Oh Lord, I popped a lot of pills.
Now we have great news from the People's Republic of China. Mark Pullum says, I'm back in China. I'm getting you loud and clear on TuneIn this time. Congratulations. You're deemed by the PLC as more acceptable than Facebook. Yay! Roach starts new over. Lovely, fluent straight drive. It was right up there in the slot, but Westley has taken full toll of it and picked up his first runs. Very nice shot, but it wasn't a particularly good ball. And there's that one we talk about with Westley, which is outside off stump. And he plays it perhaps straighter than a batsman playing in the most orthodox technical way might. Anyway, here comes Roach again into him, and this time he defends on the front foot up to mid-off, and there is no run.
That's not in the V, that's in the I.
It's in the I. It's not the V. Yeah, it's in the I. You're absolutely right.
I play in the W, but that's a whole nother thing.
Is that? I'm playing the O.
You're playing the O.
Gordon Greenwich is there. Everyone's there. Actually, I don't want to be cruel to West Indies, but sometimes you think maybe some of those were playing, they'd have more of a chance.
He's well preserved, Greenwich, isn't he? That's about 45 or something. He must be 65.
Yeah, he's getting on a bit. England are 30 for 1 now. Is Roach again wide on the crease, and again I think beating Westley outside the off stump. Although maybe give him a benefit of the doubt that he just held the bat inside the line of that one.
I've got another Roach jingle. Which one's this?
That's the one.
He ain't no dope, he ain't no weed. That Kemar Roach, he deals in speed.
There goes Kemar Roach.
There's that one.
Got loads of them.
Yeah, well, we're well stocked with West Indian jingles, it would appear.
Dr. Dan sent us a wonderful piece of poetry that I'm going to wait till the end of the over.
We got some doggerel. There's Kirtley and Andy Roberts sitting together. Wide on the crease, Roach again defended on the front foot. A good straight, good length delivery up to mid-on.
Doggerel, is it?
It's doggerel, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So we've got 2 balls to wait for that.
Okay.
Christ the Choir, just past 10 a.m. on the east coast of South America, so Brazil or Argentina perhaps. Anyone listening there?
Okay. I just want to know if there's actually anyone listening in the Azores. Anyone in the Azores? If you're out there in the Azores, in the middle of the Atlantic, listening to us.
We always say that test matches from the West Indies are great for us in England because they start about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is a test match in England that's starting 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I like it. Outside the off stump, left alone, through to Dowrich it goes. And there is no run for 30
Players
for
can just
1.
wake up 3 hours later.
Yep.
How good is that?
Well, the thing was, I saw Stuart Broad saying, well, they don't really know what they're going to do with regards to eating, because the first break remains effectively lunch. It's the 40-minute break at 4 o'clock. And he said, well, they're going to have something to eat beforehand, and then are they supposed to have a main meal in the mid-afternoon?
I don't. How much do cricketers eat for lunch?
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
talking about.
The Muse didn't take you, but it's great to have those back. Thanks for that, Dan. As we see a panorama of the ground.
Messages, it's just publishable, this. It's one of those 50-50 ones.
Ooh.
Getting grease on pink balls has always been a problem.
Well, there you go. I make no comment. Joseph in again to Cook, who again goes back and dabs at this one and gets it off the outside edge. It's through the slip cordon and down to third man for 4 more. Now, doesn't Cook have an enormous number of runs against the West Indies? I think he has a really good record. I think he may be averaging about 58.
Against everybody.
Yeah, but I think he's averaging 58 against the West Indies, which in the early part of his career would have been incredibly good.
Can we work out what Cook is going to score today? If he keeps going at this rate, he's going to score 360 today.
Oh, well, that'd be quite nice. That'd be quite nice.
Only Bradman scored 300 in a day, hasn't it?
Is that right?
Something like that.
300 in a day.
But at the moment, Cook is well on course to overtake him.
That would be amazing, an amazing surprise if it was Cook who did something like that. He's onto the back foot, a shortish one. He's got a very long single there as Jason Holder has to make ground around to extra cover. He's fielding at mid-off.
But then we said that about Misbah, and he got the
exactly
at the time the joint fastest.
I know that
100 in Test history.
That was what was so not just
unusual.
incredible. It was to watch. It was incredible to think that someone like him, who was basically quite a watchful cricketer, could play at that pace. England moved to 35. Cook has 22 of those.
Off 5.2 overs. I mean, this has to be one of the fastest starts. And is it the pink ball that's got this fast start? That's the question.
I don't think it is. I mean, there have been a couple of poor balls. There's also been a couple that have run away through the slips to third man. I saw something about Moeen Ali. Thought the pink ball feels a bit lighter on your bat, he said. Joseph in, bowls to Westley for the first time. Westley gets his arms and hands up high to let that go through to the keeper. And
so,
no run.
You're the batsman, Hendo, and we saw that the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Talk us through your innings.
It was it was a thing of beauty. I discovered when I was warming up that I could no longer see the ball, which was a bit of a problem.
Even with spectacles?
I didn't have spectacles on, and I was sort of failing to pick it up. And by the time I picked it up, it was tricky. Outside the off stump, Westley leans back and platters that through the offside. That's going to bring in 4 more runs. It certainly runs quickly over the outfield, this pink ball, and it's 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Unfortunately, when I went out to bat, it was all a bit slow and low, very low, and I went back to a couple that were short. And the first one I carted to a sort of orthodox mid-wicket who kindly dropped it.
But you stood watching it for a while.
Well, yeah,
instead of running.
Well, yeah, I was never really going to run anything more than ones or hit 4s.
So having dropped it, he then picked up the ball and could have sort of lobbed it to the bowler's end where you would have been run out.
I would have been run out.
Decent,
I think I did run. Isn't that the one where I dived in?
Well,
I fell in.
Yeah.
The sort of the soles of my boots. I'd realised why I wasn't using them anymore, or hadn't used them recently because they're just completely ruined. And it was a mixture of trying to get to the other end and falling over the flaps on my soles.
It was highly entertaining.
I'm sure it was for people watching. I do like to entertain people. And then I went back to another one and pulled it, and Andrew Miller, the dastardly
bastard,
character dived to his left to catch it. In comes Joseph again. A little bit of swing there, but it starts too wide. Not much carry there either through the keeper. It's left alone. 39 for 1. Wesley's moved on to 8. Cook has 22. And almost all of those runs must have come in boundaries, mustn't they? I mean, Stoneman hit 2 boundaries in his 8. Cook must have hit, I would say, 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah.
Boundaries. Wesley's hit 2, yeah.
Should you let people know about the GPL?
I will let people know about the GPL very shortly, at the end of this over, in fact, with 1 ball to go. And here comes Joseph. Not been that impressive in his first spell here in England. And he's whipped away by Westley. But straight to a man at mid-wicket, and there is no run. That's the end of the over. 39 for 1. Cook 22, Wesley 8. GPL. The GPL is the wonderful competition that you can take part in. You have until lunch, I tell you. Well, when I say lunch, I mean
4 p.m.
IT, 4 p.m. British summertime, which is 3 p.m. GMT. So you've probably got about an hour and a half to decide how many runs you think will be scored in the day. You go to the website, guerrillacricket.com. You go to competitions. If you haven't registered, you register. If you have registered, you just make your choice. You can have as many goes as you want. It's £1 a time. And then you, if you get it on the nose, you get the winnings, basically. I'm not sure what the what's in the pot at the moment. I'll get the bear to update me on that very shortly. But we had a very good win not so long ago. I think it was Ling Mao won something like £120. There's normally at least 20 quid in the pot. But obviously the more people that take part, the more there is in the pot. Anyway,
there have been 9 fours. So
9 fours, yes indeed. 36 of the 39 runs have come in boundaries, and we're only into the 7th over. Roach, figures of 1 for 14, is in, wide on the crease, turns Cookie round a little bit, leading edge towards cover, and there is no run.
Right, how about I do 2 tweets in between each ball of this over?
If you can.
Derek Willis, finally a test match I don't have to get up early for.
Where are you?
He's somewhere in America, isn't he?
PJ Mead, you've been joined on the Twitter sphere by me.
Hello.
Harmy bowled a wide like that at Lords in 2002 or 3, but it wasn't called.
Well, he bowled a wide like that in
sure did,
in Brisbane, yeah.
Yeah, but that was called,
That was definitely called. I think it was Flintoff who took it. Here comes...
That was my 2, wasn't
Roach again bowls. Yeah, the time Cook leaves it outside the off stump through the keeper. There is no run.
2 more. Nitin Bajaj. Hello, folks.
Hello.
Pink ball cricket in England. Who'd have thunk it? Who is Stoneman? Why isn't Mini Boycott Hasib back? Yeah,
well,
what happened to him? He played so well.
Well, he's just had an absolutely disastrous summer for Lancashire. He's got absolutely no runs until recently, where he got a 50. He got did he get 70 odd in the end? 70 odd not out, I think it was. There's been a lot of white ball cricket in the recent weeks, which hasn't given an opportunity. Roach in again to Cook, who's a little bit hurried by this, but presents the full face of the bat to get it back down the wickets to the bowler.
Philip West, hello Gorillas, it's been a long time.
Yeah, we haven't heard from you. That's Philip. Is that Philip's in Gibraltar, isn't it? I think, if I remember correctly.
You can answer that for us, Philip. Good to hear you all again. Jeff Perkins says it's a bloody good time zone for me for a day-nighter.
Yeah, it is, out there in Indianapolis, or Indiana, or wherever it is. Are they the same place? I don't know.
Indianapolis is in Indiana.
Is that right?
One's a town, one's a state.
Yeah. Roach again in to Cook, who leaves this one angled across him. Through to Dowrich goes. There is no run.
Nick Nelson says the day-night test in England business puts the match on for the perfect time for the US East Coast.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's starting 9 o'clock in the morning in the East Coast, the Eastern Seaboard.
Yep. Oh, that's good news. So what we lose in Australia, we'll hopefully gain in America.
It's good because there's more money in America, so they might lug a few our way.
Oh, it's a good thing going on Australia at the moment, isn't it? All the Australians in cabinet ministers are finding out they're not actually Australian. Roach in, bowls, full of ball but wide of the off stump, and again Cook thinks about playing it, realises he doesn't have to, so doesn't, and through the keeper it goes. Isn't there the Deputy Prime Minister of Australia has just discovered he's actually a Kiwi? And there was another guy this morning.
There's a law that says you can't have dual nationality.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually
be in the cabinet. Yeah.
It's even more restrictive than that, because what I saw was correct. It says you can't have dual nationality and you can't be eligible for nationality of another country. But pretty much anyone whose grandparent was not born in Australia is eligible for nationality of another country. So I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Roach in again, too wide this time and left alone again by Cook. that is the end of the over. I think it was a maiden. Blimey O'Reilly, England 39 for 1.
Tweets hotting up nicely, some real wit starting to fly around. Nitin has been trying to think up a really good pun on Roach and Stoned Man, but unfortunately that Jaffa put paid to that.
It did. Well, there you are. You're relieved of your duties in that respect.
Haystack Jr., England's non-fledgling openers do seem to attract Jaffas. They do, don't they? That was Jaffa. And then a very funny joke from Rory Dollard to say that Cook's latest opening partner has lasted till 2:10, which is fantastic.
Yes, I like that.
Not as good as it sounds, however.
No, he'd have been very happy if he'd lost it till 2:10. He'd have probably had 50 to his name if it had been an orthodox start to this test. Westley now just marking his guard.
The message thinks that Root has been really selfish not to bat at number 3, making it so much tougher for the new boys. It's a funny one, isn't it? I think he should go at 3.
I think he should go at 3. I mean,
it's where people like Richards would go, and these are Richards.
Well, one quote I saw from Root a couple of weeks ago was that he wanted to go at 4 because he just wanted a little bit of a break from the pressures of captaincy.
Yep.
We have a new bowler, and not a particularly good one by that ball. It's very wide, it swings further, and poor old Dowrich is diving across in front of first slip to try and prevent that running away for byes. That's this man.
Miguel Cummins.
Ooh, I like that. Here he is again. He's got a rather unusual action, not unlike Jasprit Bumrah, was he? There's a bit of the left arm going out to his left. Maybe I'm being a bit unkind to him, but there's a sort of a mechanics about it, like a machine not working at its ultimate.
Bumrah is the fact that he keeps his hands. He doesn't bend the elbows at any point.
Yeah, but it's his left arm that goes way out to his left, isn't it? That's really what I'm saying. It's very jerky. That's what I'm trying to say. Cummins looking a little bit jerky. Anyway, Westley settles down and waits for the next delivery. Here is Cummins in bowls and hit him on the pad. That's got to be close. And umpire Marius Erasmus says no. Could just be missing leg. But Jason Holder is thinking about referring, and he's going to refer it.
That was definitely out. Was that definitely out? No.
Looked a little bit leggy to me.
I think it's going to be a Bale snogger.
Well, it's an interesting one because it was full. It was very full. It looked fairly straight, but there was just a sort of sense in the back of our mind that was missing leg.
Well, it only needs to hit 25% nowadays. Less than it used to.
I don't know. I think that's going to be close. I think that's going to be very close indeed. I think middle and leg that's hitting. He's barely got forward on the crease.
It looked out. I mean, it looked out on initial viewing.
But there's nothing on ultra edge, so nothing on the inside of the bat that will save him. As we look at it again, original decision not out, pitching in line, impact in line, hitting middle and leg about halfway up. Westley has gone, Miguel Cummins has struck.
Your fault but mine, and it was your heart on the line. I really fucked it up this time, didn't I, my dear? Didn't I, my dear?
What a great start this has been for the West Indies.
Well, for the
Westley,
cricket in general.
Well, the cricket in general,
well,
yes.
It's been a wonderful, 40 minutes?
Yeah, we've had run rate of over 5 and over, and we've lost 2 wickets, so you can't really moan about that. And I was seeing earlier today, they were saying that 42% of the 96% capacity that they've got today at Edgbaston are first-time buyers.
42% of 96.
Well, they said that the capacity is going to be 96% today, or in terms of sales made,
right.
And 42% of those.
How do they know?
Well, presumably because they keep records of people. You know, these days, if you try and buy test tickets, you have to register with with the website at the ground. Or,
Yeah, I suppose so. But people tend to buy for it. I mean, yeah, okay.
Okay, is that all right with you, Fred? You're going to go along with that after sort of consideration?
Well, it sounds...
What's your problem with it? What's your problem?
Probably don't know, because sometimes I'll buy tickets for you and you'll buy tickets for me, and that's how it works. But fair enough. Okay.
I'm not going to buy you any tickets.
Well, I keep waiting.
Right. Ready?
Yes.
Can I speak? You see, this is how far away. The reason we're so far behind in tweets is it's been so action-packed and lovely. Without being crepuscular, asked Diana Patterson, that ought to be a short game, only twilight and pre-dawn. So you see what happens if you use a fancy word on this show, you get picked up on it. But then Mog goes, handy use of crepuscular. So I've divided my critics on that one. Knuckle Pandy's written in. Do we know of this gentleman? Hello, Knuckle. Morning, afternoon, after morning, he's calling it.
After morning.
I should have worn pink socks in honour. Most Ducks. But you see, I've been picked up again. Most Ducks by a proper batsman is 22 by Marvin Atapatu.
Oh, yes, Marvin Atapatu.
He was a very good player.
Anyway, the new batsman at the crease is the England captain. It's a swinging delivery, but far too wide.
Hey, Joe, where you going with that gunny, yo?
Well, Miguel Cummins taking his 11th Test wicket. His average not that great so far, averaging around 40.8. He's in again to bowl to the new batsman. Is the England captain. He gets in behind this one and defends it back up the pitch, and there is no run.
Mark Zip, morning.
Zippo.
First day back from my holes in West Cork.
Oh, that's right.
You're a great way to ease back into the daily existential angst of USA. So you're not happy.
It's all happening there, isn't it?
Yeah. I looked at that Carolina footage of the car the other day. That was quite something.
Here's Miguel again, wide of the off stump and too wide, and Root unfurls one of his favourite shots, the cut, but doesn't time it or place it with his usual rigour, and it's fielded at cover, and that is a wicket maiden from Miguel Cummins on his debut in England.
West Indies are bossing the series. Haystack Jr., it's a 10 a.m. start in Rio, but Matt Q says it's 1 a.m. in New Zealand. Worst time for a test.
Yeah, that's not so good, is it?
But we can't please all the people all the time. Andy Knight's listening for the first time for a test in Calgary. It's 7 a.m. here.
Hello there.
So it's 10:30 in Newfoundland. Maybe we found the perfect place, Newfoundland.
Canada, I tell you. Roach starts his 5th over, 3 slips in a gully. Bowling to Cook, who leaves this one, but it actually does come back into him slightly in the air, and it's not that wide of off stump. It goes through to the keeper. England just got stuck for the last couple of overs, haven't scored. We're into the 9th over of the first session. I hesitate to say the morning, because it isn't the morning. Any more tweets?
Then let's do one I can understand. A few more, Jeff Perkins, a few more rubbish batsmen, and they can bat Mo 11 and claim to therefore have the greatest batting order ever. Yeah, I mean, it's not unthinkable at all that we can slip Mo in at 11.
Harsh. Roach in again to Cook, and Cook again just leaves the bat behind his pad as he thrusts forward at that one, and as well watched through the keeper it goes.
I'll tweet from the Azores if you fly me out there, says Mog.
It's a bit of a long trek from Melbourne to well, presumably you'd go via England, wouldn't you, or would you go via America? I don't know. Can you fly direct from America to the Azores? Can you fly direct from England to the Azores?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Don't know much about the Azores.
If tweeters start talking to each other, I'm going to skip those out if that's all right, because I'm so behind. We're happy to.
No, that's fine.
We're happy to tweet conversations amongst two people when it's slow, but it's not slow today.
Now Cook's got a bit of a problem with the sight screen, I think. Anyway, seems to be happy about it now. Left-handed former captain settles down and waits for Roach, very wide on the crease, but this comes back into him, to his hip really, but he works nicely into the gap at mid-wicket, takes a single, 40 for 2.
Strongest tweet of the day so far. It's always nice to have a strongest tweet of the day competition, isn't it? Messages. We've already worked out the names. So the DM meal breaks at Edgbaston. Break 1, Stella and chips. Break 2, Stella and punch up.
Stella and chips. Yeah, I suspect. I mean, as I said, I've watched cricketers playing T20s, and they just seem to get bought a sort of bucket of KFC brought into them for about 9 o'clock. I don't know if that particular thing is still ongoing.
We have one entry in the GPL.
So far, but you can all get involved.
Till the first break.
Here it is, Roach again into Root, who is taken on the thigh pad rather awkwardly. The ball just drops down to his side.
Well, I hope that we had enough time to think about his captaincy before batting today.
I do hope so.
Because it's a bit of a non sequitur in saying, I want to bat forward to recover from my captaincy. What about if you bat first in the Test match?
Oh, that's absolutely, it's totally different,
so it's, I think he's going to have to do something about that.
Well, it's with that in mind, isn't it? We're going to have a change very shortly. The bearer's come in. He's wearing a beautiful T-shirt, which you can buy from our store. It says, Marlon Samuels, Gorilla Cricket salutes you. It's a picture of Marlon Samuels saluting... who is it? Ben Stokes. Onto the back foot goes Root. He's going to take his first run. Quick single into the covers. Very well spotted. Good pace on the ball from him. And England move to 41 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 9th over. It'll be the end of Roach's 5th. He has figures of 1 for 16. And there's Graham Morris, one of long-serving, excellent press photographers. Does a lot of work for the Times. And, in fact... he took the picture that's on the front of one of my books, would you believe? Yes, there you go. Here comes Roach to complete the over. Very wide indeed, left alone by Cook. It's given as a wide, so it's not the last ball of the over.
Here's a chance for me then to speak. Peter Lloyd says, to be fair, Gatting isn't the one you really want to represent the average Test cricketer's appetite.
Very true.
Been picked up again. Christ Sequoia. West Indies cricket much better supported by former players than current ones, it appears, and that's actually been what I've noticed for the last 10 years or so. You see all these legends in the kind of commentary boxes and hospitality stands, but they've got about 5 really big guns at the moment, the West Indies, and none of them are here.
That's right. They're all playing the CPL, aren't they? Here is Roach in, bowls wide of the crease, and it's left alone. That is the end of the over. After 9 bowled this morning in the first day-night test in England, England have advanced to 42 for 2. It's time for a change.
Good. Yeah, I can't find the change. Where's the change music gone? I'm going to play this instead.
It's a family motto. Here it is. Show me the money. Show me the money! Congratulations, you're still my agent.
That wasn't the one I thought it was. Where's the money jingle from Men with Vent in marketing? Okay, well, let's play that. We'll do that after. It's a minute and a half long. We'll wait for the drink break, which will be in about a quarter of an hour's time.
Hi everyone, it's Gorilla Cockers here, welcoming you to the 10th over of the day, and it's very well bowled by Cummins and just defended by Root, who's on 1 or 6 balls into the offside. So it's honours not quite even. West Indies are winning this Test match at the moment, 42 for 2 off 9.1, and a run rate of 4.58. It's probably the most varied, layered, entertaining and finest starts to a Test match I saw in many a mile. Do you agree, not Fred? That this has been a really lovely start to the Test match?
I might agree had I been listening to what you were saying.
Oh my God. Right, that's just defended. It's up to mid-on, and it's terrible misfield there, and it's going to be maybe 3. I think it will be 3 here, so Root is away. Well, I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy. I'm going to say that it's been a wonderful start to the Test match. Do you agree?
It has been. It's been a very entertaining. There's runs, wickets, all sorts, everything going on. Even some pretty comedy fielding.
We're going to watch this.
Just dived over the top of the ball.
Oh dear, that's terrible.
Yes, we'd like to identify him. Can we identify the gentleman in question?
No. We'll get everybody in.
We will. There were quite a few newbies today, especially with Gabriel not playing, and the 5 big guns that I just mentioned. I'm going to come for, as I say, we are behind on tweets, but that's because it's been so action-packed. I'm going to come for 2 or 3 after this ball. Cook is now on strike. He's on 23 off 25 balls. He rarely gets that many off so few, and he's defending into mid-wicket. A couple of tweets.
Well, apparently in the first day-night test, they had 20 minutes break first and then 40 minutes.
Yes, I noticed that. Yeah.
Cook versus the West Indies, 18 matches, 31 innings, 1,457 runs at 58.28.
Oh, I think Hendo said 56. Or did he say 58? He was close. That's fantastic.
8 scores
Hendo.
between 50 and 99. 161 fours and 1 6. That's from Peter Lloyd in Light Bairstow. Thank you very much, Peter.
Yeah, no. He hasn't just randomly come in with that. We did set him up for it. We said that. Anyway, next.
We have a Greenland listener.
Greenland.
Oh, no, he's not in Greenland. That's Christ the Choir. At least I don't think you're in Greenland. He said it's 11:30 West Greenland Standard Time. Morning Nook, listeners. Also in South Georgia, sandwich time. How come South Georgia is that a bit? Is it ahead of New York? I don't know.
We've been trying to work out where
South
in the world
Georgia
it's best to be.
Is that island near the Falklands?
Ah, I think it's South Georgia, USA.
Cook faces up, and this one is just outside his leg stump, and he's flicking it down to fine leg for a single. So, yeah, this is a very good start for a one-day match. You want to be about 50 after 10, and they're on 46 for 2, which is at least one too many.
PJ Me wants to know, our cricket match had lots of media coverage, and there were many people of age and girth. Was there a defibrillator on site? There is actually a defibrillator at the club. It's part of the med kit.
Well, I think the Bear needed it after he was given out LBW.
Yeah, well,
LBW,
Trigger Finger Bishop will be getting it on Saturday when I see him. I'm sure he'll tell me I was plumb, but I don't think so.
Had you put it in a stride?
Were you at the other end?
No, I was at square leg.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This one's badly down the leg side by Cummins, and there's a 15% appeal by the keeper to stop the umpire giving it a wide, and no run. 46 for 2 off 10.
You did take a few wickets, didn't you, Ben?
I took 3.
That's
3 for 26.
That's excellent. Scots took not 6, so he took 9 between you.
Well, exactly, and 15 wickets we had to get there. It was a bit of an odd game. Philip West says, work in Gibraltar for an online gaming company and live in Spain. He's not as angry as he was before. Ha ha ha. Are you a West Indies supporter, Philip West? Nicholas says, musically, I put board into Eastern Seaboard. Ooh. Paul Kemp says, now we can play tests in the dark. They should start away Ashes test at 8 p.m. local time, purely for us. Now that would be good. Probably doesn't. Yeah, work for us perfectly. And I don't think they get Dewey over there, do they?
I'm just trying to think if they do. But I'm just trying to think of the BP, the Big Bash. Did they get a bit of Dew? I think they might do. I think Dew is a bit. Oh no, that's IPL. It's
definitely IPL.
Yeah. Holder, the skipper's on for his first attempt. I think. Well, we haven't had Holder, have we?
No.
He's a very charismatic 25-year-old West Indian captain. Has he got a jingle? Just give me a wave when you...
Jason Holder. Jason
This is a loopy half volley outside the off stump. I think it was somebody like Simon Hughes was saying that Holder might go well today because he just puts it in areas. So
every bowler puts it in areas.
Just the right areas that matter.
One area would be better than areas.
Maybe I hadn't finished
thought.
My sentence. Yes, he puts it in areas to make the batsman uncertain. How about that? Bit of a probably a little bit more pace than Jeremy Coney, that sort of thing. Oh, you're cracking open something, Stella! No,
Cronenberg.
We just had a big Stella joke. That's why Cronenberg. Cook lets this go through. He's calming down a bit. 24-31. You put your hand up.
Neil the Mad Dog says, "Good morning from American Flight 700 from LAX to Philadelphia."
That's amazing.
Looking forward to 4 hours of Gorilla Wit and Wisdom. Hello, Mad Dog. Enjoy your flight. PJ Mead says Westley may as well open. He only ever watches a couple of overs before batting.
So far.
Well, and the number 4 has to pad up anyway. There's not. You have to pad up at the start. So you might as well be 3 if you're Root.
Well, you'd imagine Root would want to be, having been a bit scared of South African bowlers, might not be as scared of West Indian bowlers, which might not be rightly so at the end of the series. We'll find out. But
I think all cricketing logic says he should be batting at 3.
Yeah, true. I agree. Messenger says Oz government is complete chaos over citizenship shit. Yeah, they've had all that weird. None of them are Australian, it seems. Just discovered he's Irish citizen as well as British and Australian. Sweet, you can stay in the EU then, mate. Lucky you.
This is played. Well, he put it in a corridor to make the batsman uncertain, and he's played it through full slip. But there's not a full slip, and it's gone for 4. Cook surges to 28.
Kids can't listen, and you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
Yeah. He did play that reasonably soft though. He played it down, didn't he? I don't think he'd have carried the slip.
I've got an interesting question for you two, boys.
Ooh, yes.
Do you know the quiz show Pointless, when you have to get the most esoteric answer to something? So name a number 1 single of Madonna. Don't say Like a Virgin because everyone says that. So say something that's more unusual. Here's my question to you: This is defended by Cook. Up to mid-off for no one. My points, about 4 or 5 of us at a cricket match the other day were trying to name Cook's 11, now it's now 12 opening partners, and we did it quite easy, and then we couldn't get one, and none of us could get it. So in other words, that was the pointless answer. Who is that opening partner for Cook that we just could not get?
Well,
so you're not trying to get the easy
Bell
ones.
in the one test
No, not Bell, no. And somebody did a very good one. It was just Butler, but he did open, but Cook didn't. It was a run chase, so you can't have him either. But
Moeen Ali?
No, we got him. So we'll just see if you can get the pointless answer.
Mm-hmm.
And it is quite clever. I can see why people really struggle. He's played 4 test matches for England. He's opened twice. Carberry's played a lot more than that. I think he's played 5. Or did he get dropped for the last one? I think he played 5. That was defended by Cook. I think it was the end of the over. So yeah, we went through the list and we just couldn't get the pointless answer. Maybe somebody can quickly tweet in and see if they can get their pointless answer that kind of one person in 100 would say has opened with Cook for England. Live, that's easy. Robson, that's easy. I'm giving Compton's easy. He's had a couple of bites, hasn't he? So who's the pointless answer?
He's only played 4 tests.
Yep.
He's only played 4 tests.
And he's one of the 11. He's now one of the 12. It's gone up to 12 today, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So, and there's one that about 4 or 5 really knowledgeable cricket boffins could not get. So, and you two are struggling to get it in a way. This is Cummins. He's got 1 for 4 of 2.1. And Root is examining the bottom of his bat. The pink ball has maybe spliced it or something, has hurt it. I think he's going to need medical attention on his bat, is he?
No, I don't think
so. He's grimacing. He's feeling the pain of his bat.
I'm going to think about that, and I'm going to get some tweets in when I think about it.
Yes.
Paul Kemp, Blade Picker says, England fuck all for 2, different colour, same old shite. It's true. PJ Mead said, real dog go number 3, just watch his 30 minutes and then bats. It's true.
He's off the back foot here. He didn't look completely sure about that. I think a slightly more confident Root would have just followed through on that a bit, but instead he pings it to pointish, gullyish. Give it point, I think that is. And there's no run, but he's definitely going to be playing more confident strokes than that today if he survives. 50 for 2 England. Run rate of 4.4.
Oh God, yeah. Did you see that Australian politician who went into Parliament wearing a burqa? She's a nationalist.
She is.
And Imagine Sally R56 has tweeted a picture of her up.
That's let through by Root for no run.
Saying that she's madder and rightier than Trump.
Well, Trumpy's definitely setting the bar quite high these days.
He's insane, isn't he? He's totally insane.
What do we think of the Scaramouche? Was he popular in this office? It was one of the shortest jobs. His job was minus 15 days, wasn't it? He was 15 days before he was supposed to actually formally take off his job that he got fired.
Oh, really?
This is edged and a fine diving stop by third slip there. A note passed. Okay. They're trying to talk about something. Sorry. Yeah, a slightly uncertain shot there by Root. And it is remaining at 50 for 2. Thank you, Hendo.
Pay your pen.
Okay, it's been thrown over there. Right. I'm still going to want this pointless answer. This is defended into the covers. I'm going to give you two boys a minute each, and you don't. Yeah. Well, see, the thing is that even if you look it up, it doesn't really help you in a way, but it does because it gives you all the 11 names. But we just couldn't name that 11th person. So we've had Carver, we've had Rue, we've had Lythe and Compton.
But the fact you said there's only 4, he's only played 4 tests. I'm trying to think of the shortest lived ones. Robson didn't last long, but you said it wasn't Robson.
Yeah. And of course Hamid, but Hamid, we're never going to forget Hamid because he was so brilliant. We loved him. And Jennings, we're not going to forget him in a hurry either. This is played. There you go. Now he's been finding the slips today. He's been finding the point, and now he's threaded the eye of the needle for 4 runs. It's a great shot.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
Pretend there's a car involved. You win a car, a really nice 25 grand car, but you have to get the pointless answer for Cook's 11 partners. And you're both allowed one name right now. What name are you going to go for?
Well, there's loads I go for, but I'm not going for the one that played 4 tests that is the one that I can't remember.
It's interesting. Isn't it funny how he slipped under our radars? Have I captured your imagination with this, not Fred?
Not in the least.
I don't think you've ever said yes to that question when I've asked it, however way I dress it up.
There's a bit of a pattern emerging.
I need to ask you more stimulating questions as this has played into the covers off the back foot by Cook. Right, well, I'm going to have to tell you soon, aren't I?
I'm Googling it.
Oh, well, you're not allowed to Google it. But, well, it's not... I hope you're not Googling what's the pointless answer to this question.
No.
But, yeah, well...
I don't know what pointless is either.
No, it's
you've never seen pointless.
It's the most unusual, most little thought of. So, I don't know, name a James Bond film, but that's something that the least people would name. So, Goldfinger would be a bit risky, wouldn't it? That goes through to the keeper. Yeah, who do you think the pointless answer is?
I know, I've got to go out with some tweets. I'm waiting for Google to tell me. Adelaide Barmy says he's in Adelaide and he wasn't watching but gave out LBW. It's Erasmus, good grief, he says. I thought that was pretty out, wasn't it, when it hit?
Yeah, it was.
Pads?
I thought it was pretty out.
I don't know why he didn't give that out.
Especially
when I saw the replay, I thought, well,
he may have thought he got an edge, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose, maybe. Help take your mind being off doomed. And there's a video of Theresa May, which you can all look at.
This is defended by Cook off the back foot. He has slowed down a bit. We've had 1 minute less than an hour. So at the moment, England are going to... Is that Ian Bell in the pavilion? Get 100 before lunch. Is that Ian Bell, not Fred? Yes, it is.
It is.
He's looking strange because he's in a suit. He looks like he's at a wedding with quite a heavy beard.
Is that onions? No, who's doing this? No.
Ben Duckett.
Yeah, that's a pointless answer. Yeah, it's just he flies under the radar a bit, Ben Duckett. 56 runs and 4 tests, and didn't do much as opener. But he's the one that he's just... Hopefully he won't be forgotten about, because we were all quite excited about him for a nanosecond, but...
Until we saw him back.
I don't think he's going to play 100 tests for England.
Well, those tours of last winter, I mean, there were a few players there who really you'll be scratching our heads in a few years thinking, how the hell did these people play Test cricket? I mean, Gareth Batty's he's really not very good. Alzarri wasn't very good.
Alzarri probably went into the city.
And Duckett. I mean, it was not a great selection.
Well,
this is through to the keeper. Lots of swing on that, but we were worried that the swing's going to wear off in 17 overs time. That's what they all say, but they're swinging it furiously at the moment, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's odd how they come to the decisions, isn't it? You know, they don't take the person who's got the most of this or that or whatever. Well, Duckett scored a fair few runs, but in the bowling department, why take Gareth Batty and Zafran?
Batty was just a ludicrous selection. I mean, he's an average county player. He's never been a Test class spin bowler in any of his careers.
Didn't he did just about okay in one of the matches, I think. Just about. But the other one, the other one he got swallowed up a bit.
That was a dot ball. And we're going to have a drinks break now, so I'm going to take this opportunity of running through a list of our donors who have kindly given us money and
via Patreon
would like their names to be read out. So give us a minute and you're going to hear their names, and they are James Humberstone, Ian Pearce, Colin Booth, Dave Franklin, Dugell, Jill Oldfield, Steve Ellands, Andrew Barnes, Mog, Jonah, Diana Patterson, Georgia Bottomley, Peter Svidler, Kevin Partington, Bob Maxwell, Steve Pettifer, Jane Francis, Katie Cooper, Sean Morris, Thomas Whiteley, My Destination, I think that's the name of the company, Michael Clarkson, Derek Willis, Rahul, Sid Spencer, Matt Burley, Dose Shave, Paul Collins, Pryke in Munich, Jay Grover, Chris Waller, Way Pom Pom, John Rogers, Christopher Barlow, Terry Francis, Croydon, Mike Loston, Lonesome, which is Juliet Clancy, Anna Forsyth, Matt Toohey, Niall Connolly, Nicola Wright, David Wood, Barry Shaw, Adelaide Barmies, Kenyon Pandy, James Sutton, Benjamin O'Call, Paul Jones, Jeremy Henderson, Alex Thomas, Philip Shaw, Peter Lloyd, Jack Powell, Steve Bryant, Nathan Halley, Will Warren, Graham Smart, and Mark Zip. Way!
Who's been on the show, of course.
Mark Zip has been on the show.
A few other people have been on the show.
He took to it
some
like
of them we never want to see it under any circumstances.
We're miles behind with tweets, and I am going to just pick out a few to get us up on time. Because Peter J, who came on a couple of weeks ago, he says, this is a terrible pun, if they don't get Dewey in Australia, how do they organise their libraries? Oh, Peter. Andrew Veer says, afternoon from Amsterdam. Prefer the earlier starts, as they can only get me through the last few hours. As you now can only get us through the last few hours of work. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. The late start's okay. The house is getting a bit busy, though. The kids were going all mental and had play dates and shit, and so I was quite happy to get out here. I mean, I arrived 2 hours before everyone else, just because I had to do jingles and stuff. Knuckle Panda says, is Ben Duckett pointless? Well, yes, and there was a lot of answers of Duckett. From Jeff Perkins, Beng Ingham, as well as Jeff Perkins. The T-Boy says, morning gents, wait, hang on, this test is already confusing me. Why is it confusing you, the T-Boy? It started at 2 o'clock, it has a pink ball, and we've lost 2 wickets. These are very, apart from the fact it started at 2 o'clock and it's a pink ball, everything else is normal. Jay Grover. Our friend Jay goes, I'll be tweeting from Eastbourne tomorrow. Not exotic. I went to Folkestone yesterday. God, that's a shithole. Sorry if you live in Folkestone.
There's some really nice places around the UK with bear.
Well, no, we went there. I was looking up property down there, and I went there a couple of years ago with Lena, and there's this lovely promenade you walk across the top. Because the beach is so far away, it looks sandy, so I thought to take the kids to a sandy beach. So I said, well, we go to Broadstairs or whatever, and it's round. We'll go to Folkestone. There doesn't seem to be anyone there. And it wasn't a sandy beach, and actually it's pretty rough. But anyway, sorry if you live in Folkestone. But it was a day out for the kids. Paul Goldsmith says, Toronto's a perfect place today to listen to a guerrilla cricket. 9 o'clock start, coffee, laptop, desk and headphones. Thank you very much, Paul Goldsmith, who's gone to Toronto. Absolutely. Well, there is actually. Toronto's quite a happening place, I think.
We're back. Drinks break over. Root and Cook, two of the finest batsmen England have ever produced. Oh, that's a sweeping statement. But they're going to be right up there on the list of run scores, aren't they, as he just plays us into the onside. But I'm not sure that Cook and Root are now necessarily fabled for putting on enormous stands together. I'd be interested to know what their average stands are together. That's something for maybe Knuckle to tell us, because he's very good at finding out minutiae like that. But I'm not aware of them putting on kind of 300 together, are they? Maybe a couple of century stands, but I kind of see them together. I think, these two are going to be batting at stumps, and then one of them tends to get out.
Well, yeah, but they do some quite useful stands, I'd say. I mean, they've got England into a couple of half-decent positions over the last couple of years, after early losses.
But, of course, Cook is coming under the microscope by some for saying that he's just not quite sticking around as long as he did a few years ago.
He had a couple of stonking innings against the Sappers.
Yeah, he did.
Very important ones.
Did I not commentate on that?
Scores.
This is straight through to the keeper, and he's beaten. He's very badly beaten outside the off stump. I should be telling you more what's happening on the balls. Concentrate, William. That was enough, Suit Jaffa.
Can I get some tweets in?
Yes.
Messi Jez says, he was born in Eastbourne. He escaped at 19. Your presence will reduce the average age, and he says that to our friend Jay Grover.
Here's another slightly uncertain edge from Root that surely gets him a single. It does. Its third slip can't quite get across to it.
It's actually a good stop by the slip. It went. I mean, it bounced before him, but it was going quite quickly and well to his right. Specialist position slip. You've got to get the best people in there, haven't you, Bear?
Yeah, indeed.
You're the diving diva, of course.
Man, that was a quality catch, I have to say. I mean, we were all a bit shocked. I didn't expect anyone to take any slip catches. Why? Well, because, even in my league side, no one ever takes slip catches. They always go down. They always get a hand to it, but everyone else always goes down. And you're not the smallest of men, Fred.
Run rate down to 4.02. That could bring it down to 4 even, I reckon, as Cook leaves it outside. The off-stump's gone down to 3.98. It's been the first time it's been under 4 all day.
We have to say a big hello to Connie Pans and Bock. It's got an now over the zero. The O, sorry. She says, spending sunny afternoon listening to the day-night test on guerrilla cricket while trying to paint a blackberry patch in my back garden. She sent a picture of herself, a selfie, with a GC guerrilla cricket hat on, cap.
I like blackberries as well.
Yeah.
Send us some blackberries.
There's some outside the bloody front door.
Yeah.
Last ball of the over. Is this going to be a quick single? They're going to think about it. It's a 20-20 single, but Cook doesn't like it. Just very slight fumble there at mid-wicket. So England 55 for 2 or 14. Everything's settled down. The flurry of boundaries. I mean, that first over went for 10. We won about 35 or 5. And then since then we scored 20 off 9.
It often happens that test matches, when everybody's fielding up, you get away to a bit of a flyer and then it settles down after that. But England are doing okay. The ball's not moving excessively. There's Gladstone small.
Yeah, the man with the smallest leg in cricket.
Difficult to tailor for, I would have thought.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, it's got a fused neck, hasn't he? Something like that. Geared for IT consultant, guest Ben Duckett. He also posits that he was his 9th opening partner. Jeff Birkin says, aren't some selections based on jingle potential?
Yes, of course. This is straight through to the keeper, left alone by Root.
Kemar Roach certainly is.
Holders continuing. Yeah, we will get a Roach and Stoned Man joking, hopefully second innings, but we couldn't quite get it the first. Joseph has got 3 overs for 25. He's the one that really went places. Is he, I should know a bit more about Joseph.
Alzarri, don't look at me.
Yeah.
I know his name. That's about
it. I might give you some stats about Joseph to tell you exactly what he's done in his professional career. Second ball of this over, it's all gone very quiet as Root realises that he's in at 2 down and is not here to play flash shots quite yet. Through to the keeper.
And we're up to date with his final tweet. Jay Grover is going to Eastbourne for his grand's 90th birthday. Hello to your nan. Good old, ripe old age, that. And someone had mentioned that places like that are full of old people. And he says the age stereotype is borne out.
Yeah. It's supposed to be nice, though.
Oh, is that Ted Dexter?
They're all very nice. That's what I mean. I would expound.
Holder bowls, and that's just up on his toes and defending up to mid-on. Yeah, we just saw Ted Dexter there. He's looking just slightly less than well. But he'll be well. No, there's something
slightly less than well.
Yeah, he's not looking like he did for that barnstorming 75 he made against the West Indies in '63. So nearly won us the match.
It must be well over 80, Ted Dexter.
Yeah. He hasn't lost any hair. I'll give him that. Bastard. This is well pitched up on the off stump, and Root is right forward, and there's no run.
No pace at all from Holder. I mean, I know he's not a quick bowler, but that was 78 miles an hour. You don't need to bowl quick in England to get batsmen out.
No,
certainly with a new ball. But 78 is a bit on the weak side. Yeah,
I mean, whilst I was here, I got here early, load up jingles and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned.
And I had the telly on, and they were talking about the pink ball. And I shall go
older bowls. This is another very quiet over by England and Rooties, just letting it through. A little bit of inducker there, and there's no run.
And they were basically they kind of showed 2 balls that were 30 overs old, and a red duke and a pink duke. And a pink duke looked like, if they got it correctly, the pink duke looks knackered at 30 overs. It kind of looks like a white ball, and everything's scuffed off the outside. I just don't understand why it can't break down in the same way a red ball does. I know the dyeing process is slightly different, but the difference is amazing.
Now this one is drivable, and it's beautifully driven by Root. His patience is at an end. He goes after this one, and it's through the covers for one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Beautifully played. I was just looking at Alzarri Joseph's figures. He's done really well so far in his Test career. He's averaging 31 with 15 wickets. So there you go. He can play, this boy, but you wouldn't know it after his first 3 overs of today.
That ball looks all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about the ball, have we? I remember when my sister first passed her driver's test and she was terrible, but my mother did say to her once, after quite a long journey from kind of Kent to London, when she'd been given the wheel, she goes, well, I haven't noticed you. I haven't commented and noticed you've been at the wheel, so that must say something. And that's sort of, we haven't really been saying today, we haven't been talking about the ball really, have we, much?
It's also about referees in football. If you haven't noticed him, he's had a good game.
Yeah. It's swung quite a lot earlier, didn't it? Right early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of movement. There's definitely a bit of movement. Even there, that's just coming back into him, and he just plays it to mid-wicket for no run. This is the start of a new over. It's Cummins who's got 1 for 9 or 4.1, and West Indies really fighting here, really playing well. Here's a tweet.
Jay Grover says it's his stepnan, not his nan. I apologise. I doubt your nan at 90. I don't, is she into gorilla cricket? She may well be. You won't know. Knuckle Pounder says Cook and Root have scored 1,000. I love our stats, man. Knuckle.
I knew you'd be up to a Knuckle.
Yeah, he says they scored 1,763 runs together, an average of 43.6.
That's very good, but it's not amazing. Hold on, he goes on. This is outside. This is just pushed up the average, by the way. It's outside Cook's hips, and he's swishing it down to vacant. Fine leg for a 4.
Now my innings going. Great guns. I hit the ball. 4 runs. I hit the ball, and it went for 4 runs.
Yeah, continue with that, please.
So they have had 600 stands, 550 stands, and have best stand of 185 versus Pakistan at Manchester.
It's a shade better than I thought, but 43, it's slightly Never Neverland. I'm not sure if I'm dazzled by that or not.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, Cook's an opener, and that's an average of... It's not a bad average.
And of course they did open together for a bit, but in that rather difficult Ashes series of 2013, when Root scored one big score, didn't he? Got that huge score at Lords, but otherwise he struggled. That was through to the keeper, no run. But well done, Knuckle. That's brilliantly researched, and it's illuminated me anyway.
We should remind you that the GPL is open for another 45 or so minutes.
I will tell you what the pot is.
It was £30 going into today.
Okay.
We've had 4 entries so far. I'll tell you what they are after this ball.
Okay.
Which is giving Cook a bit of room outside the off stump, and he's played it through the covers. They'll come back for 2 only. There's not going to be quite a third there, but it's a good shot by Cook. He's playing really well. I think he will be definitely sniffing 100 today. I mean, well, not sniffing, thinking about it. He'll want one, but then he always does.
4 entries from 3 people. Andrew H. Barnes, Duke of Bellingham, and Giles and Farmer have entered. And the spread at the moment, or rather, 326, 333, 339, and 344. So people erring slightly on the high side, I think, at the moment.
That's high,
and we don't know what's going to happen when it gets dusk, do we?
No.
And this is just clipped away behind square, and they'll just take a single here, but Cook is playing beautifully. Well, what are we going to score in the morning set? I think they're going to get over 100 this morning. That's for sure, almost. 66 for 2 of 15.5, and there's going to be about another 8 overs to go if they score 30. Well, that's going to be 96. It's going to be close. It's going to be right on 100, I reckon.
There's some fighting talk. But first, the T-Boy says, missed Stoneman's innings. Did he look lost, or was it just a good ball? Well, you were saying it was ball of the century, wasn't it?
No, it was a defecate. It pitched on leg and hit the top of off. It was
a very good ball.
On player ball.
And it swung in as well, didn't it?
Not Fred says that he played all around it or something.
No, I didn't say that, to be fair.
And Root's playing this down to a wide fine leg for a single.
I mean, saying pitching leg and hitting off, it sounds... it sounds better than it is because it's a right-arm bowler bowling to a left-handed batsman, so it's going across him, and that's the angle it's going to go. It was definitely a good ball, and I just mentioned that his bat didn't come down sort of really straight, but
it did come off the pad, didn't it, as well?
No, I don't think it did.
There was the ever so slight graze. I mean, just a little touch.
I thought he got when I initially saw it, and I didn't see the replay because I was doing stuff next door. But I thought he got an inside edge onto his back leg pad, and then it had gone onto the stumps. But if you say no. Messages: Ted Dexter's finest hour for me, a Sussex fan, was winning the Gillette Cup in 63-64. Yeah. First time we won anything, he says. And this is the fighting talk.
Yes.
From J Woe. Wani Julsh. He says hi, Gorilla Cricket.
This is defended by Root. Back to Holder. I should know. I'll just double check that for you. Yes, it's still Holder. Coming into his 4th over. What's the fighting talk?
He says tip top today, as ever. Thank you very much. Root up 4. It's weak. Aussies will stomp all over it. I go full daft and have him open in the Ashes. No, we had him open once. I don't think opening.
No.
I mean, 3 or 4 is so interchangeable, isn't it? I mean, if 3's weak, then 4's in very quickly anyway. And this is the point. Isn't this the point of English cricket where we're the 2 positions that we can't fill?
This is through to the keeper, and there's no run.
If Root doesn't bat at 3, and he's our best batsman, is we have problems at 2 and 3. It's the opening partner for Cook, and then if 3's weak, then Root's in anyway, and you're wasting 2 places in the side.
Well, you want your best batsman to bat at 3 because they're the best batsman.
Yep.
It gives them most opportunity to score runs, assuming that best batsman isn't an opener. And generally, if you're a leader, you want to lead from the front. You don't want to hide away, do you?
It's true.
You want to set an example.
Well, he's definitely going to get a long innings today if he sticks around, and this one's very wide, and he's not going to be going after those in a hurry. 67 for 2 or 16.3.
I mean, this is slow for Root, to be honest. I mean, let's be honest. I mean,
he's
Root,
on 14 off 28.
I know, but Root is quite an attacking batsman. He likes to attack, and that's why I think he likes at 4, because he thinks that he's going to have less of a newer ball and more time to have a ball that's not really moving around in overs kind of 30 to
but he's
80.
best.
I know what you're saying.
He can cope with it better than other people.
He's got the best technique. No, he's being a bit. He's been a bit mercurial.
Selfish was the word you were looking for, and didn't want to say.
True.
As that next ball was left outside the off stump.
Was it? Yeah, he's slightly putting me to sleep, Rooty, today. He's done a lot. He's probably only four scoring shots or something. He's 14 off 29 balls, and he's doing a lot of leaving. But he's coming quite early on in the day. The pink ball's swinging, and he's just wants to see what it's all about. As Holder is putting it in these uncomfortable areas, that one he's got to get up on his toes for, and just plays it into the covers for no run. Is that the end of the over? One more to come.
One more to come. The other thing they were saying this morning is, and this I've heard before, is because they're scared of the pink ball going dead too quickly, they leave a kind of little cover on the pitch. They leave it a little bit longer than they would, so it's not as abrasive on the ball. So therefore it slows it down a bit.
Apparently it does get quite filthy quite soon.
Yeah.
But it's got another 69, 70 overs to go, this ball. As Holder comes in for the last ball of another very quiet over, and it's right forward and plays it out to point, and there's no run. I think that was a maiden. So 67 for 2 off 17. It's ever so slightly soporific.
Well,
England going to get
it's
to
still
100.
about 4 and over, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was 5.5, but yes.
So it's not exactly snail's pace.
No,
4 and over in the first 17 overs of the day.
It's just the last 25 minutes I speak of.
And what we're all really hanging about for is dusk, isn't it?
Yeah, we just want to see what happens to the sky.
We just want to see what happens at dusk.
It's funny if nothing happens, isn't it?
There'll be.
When does dusk start?
Well, according to the BBC, yesterday it was 8:30, which is virtually an hour before the end of basically only an hour before the end of the possible
that's sunset.
I think the lights
calling that sunset?
Dusk. So dusk probably starts an hour earlier.
I wonder when they're going to put the lights on. Maybe 7:15 or something. Maybe even earlier. But 7:15, 7:30, depending on cloud cover, I suppose. This is to Cook. He's right forward, playing up to mid-on, no run.
And we should point out, for those who can't see pictures, that the sun is shining. Looks quite clear at Edgbaston, which would mean that it gets darker a little bit later if it's clear later in the day. But we are definitely going to go into a period of dark, no question about it. It's not like those Rounder County Championship games that they had at the end of June under lights, where basically they could have played till 9:30 without there being any lights anyway.
That's the thing.
Cook's facing out to Cummins, and there's a full shot. That's really well bowled by Cummins. It's just in the corridor of uncertainty. Maybe shouldn't have played it. It was half a block, half a drive, and he could easily have been out there. We're just seeing that's a really big mistake there, and it's gone through to the keeper for no run.
Messenger says, today's revelation. He's going to have a long innings today if he sticks around. Stop having a dig. Hashtag bleeding obvious. Thanks for that, Messi. Thanks.
No. All I want to do is be better. Cummins is 1 for 17 or 5.2, and this is on Cook's hip. He loves it there, but he doesn't find the single. It's straight to square leg for no run.
Yeah, all the West Indians are wearing their caps, which is very nice to see. A lot of teams do that in recent years and decades at the first session of the game in the field. Caps, and they look very smart.
Well, I think there's probably a terrific spirit in this side. I mean, I'm sure they're very kind of gung-ho and come on, let's show them, and all these silly jokes about the third Hope brother being called No, and isn't that witty? But I think this is a very spirited little outfit we've seen, and often when you get a couple of superstars in there, they drag the spirit down, don't they? Because I don't think of people like, this is blocked up to mid-on for no run. The likes of KP and Chris Scale, it's not sometimes about the spirit, it's about the fact they're superstars.
Yeah. And we have to say, I mean, when we covered them in the West Indies last time, we did the same thing. I mean, we all said, he got a chance, blah,
and
blah,
they
blah,
got the
blah.
draw.
They got the draw.
And they beat us, of course, about 6 years ago.
As well,
What's happened to Suleiman Ben?
Oh, I like him. This is down the leg side. Cooker's wafting and missing, and there's no run. And I mean, just little things like the West Indies having Windies on their jumpers and shirts. I mean, I'm not sure I've seen that. Are you aware of them
I've
calling
not
themselves
noticed it being
the Windies in?
Always been known as the Windies.
I know, but have they actually written it in big bold letters on their shirts like that?
Oh, maybe not.
I don't think they were doing that in 1984 in the blackwash summer. Don't think we were seeing Windies written on their shirts. But I think it's sweet, I think it's cute, but it is a nickname. As Cook faces Cummins, and this is blocked really with great surety up to mid-off for no run. So this really is gone into a go slow by England these last 8 overs. They probably scored about 12 runs.
Hendo, if you're listening in the other room...
It's time for a change, mate. You need to come in.
Well, there are only 4 of us in today. Because people are going to come in after work, aren't they?
Yes, Knuckle is coming in after work.
You see what they did there.
Yep. Big Sexy Barry says, can we confirm that there'll be no going off for bad light bullshit in this match?
Who knows?
Well,
who knows? They'll find a way to come off for some reason.
The way they find a way to come off is when it's getting twilight and the lights still haven't quite pinged in properly yet. They do, but they hate batting in that. They go, it's wrong, it's difficult.
But that's only when it's a day match. You can't do that in a day-night match if you're saying that the lights are taken over, because the whole point of playing in the night match is the lights are taking over.
Good, you've answered my question. But I do hate it when they've got the floodlights on and they go for bad light. I don't understand it at all. Holder continues for a 5th over. He's playing a captain's innings here. This is played out into the covers by Root for no run.
Well, that's to do with the ball, isn't it? A red ball, they say you can't see even if the lights are on at a point. Barry Goodman's, Jeff Perkins, talking about Root and messages saying that the bleeding obvious. He says, I suppose he could have a short innings if he sticks around, but no one else does.
Yes, that's true.
If everyone else collapses around him, he can still have a short innings.
There's Moeen Prakash on the boundary. He had a few short innings against the West Indies in his time. I was there for a pair at Lord's, I remember. As that's played to the point for no run. He just stood there. He stood there and he couldn't believe it. He just said, I can't believe I've got a pair and I can't leave the pitch.
He had some very long innings against the West Indies without actually scoring many runs, because there was a time when he kept getting into the 20s in about 2.5 hours and not getting out of the 20s. I mean, they were daddy 20s, they weren't baby 20s.
Oh, that was 91.
But like 27 and 28.
27, he scored it twice in his debut. Very good. With that wonderful test at Headingley in 91. But he scored a big daddy 100 at Guyana, of course, in 98, but that was about it. And that one's, apart from the century against Australia, of course, that's through to the keeper, and there's no run. 67 for 15.3. Could you direct your orchestra, please, Hendo?
Do the pointing bit again.
Yeah.
No, that makes no sense. Who's coming up?
This is very difficult.
Ian.
I'm coming out. Okay, I'm off to Sainsbury's, off to the pub, the Swift Half then. It's been a really delightful 19 overs of my life. 67 for 2 as Holder is in, and this is nicely played by Woakes. Does he get it through? He does. Finally gets it through. There's been a bit of faffage going on from Ruchi today, but he's beaten point this time for one of these.
And if you kids can't listen, and you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary.
Well, he's on 18 off 35 now. I think one of these boys is going to get 100 today. It's a bold statement. It's a poor piece of fielding by Point. You should have got down to it, but they obviously both want one.
I agreed with Grubby's assessment that Root would be top scorer. He was top scorer in the last series, and we both think that he's going to score shitloads of runs. 5-2 for the series top scorer. I got 9-4 was quoted by Grubby, but I went on at midnight last night and got 5-2. And I think that was a pretty good bet.
Is that for either side?
No, that's Root, England's top scorer.
Okay, yeah, it's not bad. But who knows what Malan could do yet. This goes through to the keeper for no one. And Stuart Ball can always get a lot of runs in a hurry if he wants to.
How many innings has Root had 50s in a row?
Oh, yeah, is that true? Are we going for number 12?
Test match.
Test matches.
In test matches.
So
11, but the record's 12, isn't it? Yeah. So he could equal it here.
Yep.
I think so. I know.
They need to stretch and slouch. It's been a few overs coming, but to the soul
Well, I now have Hendo to my right and the Bear to my left. It's a bit like the slip cordon on Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
We just need Busfield.
Yeah. Well, Busfield was.
Odd game. We had 15 wickets to get, didn't we?
Yeah, that's
So,
true. That's true. We should have had allowed more men behind square on the leg side because of take account of the extra fielders. Anyway, we're looking at the bare and ragged staff that is the symbol of Warwickshire on top of the score board as Cummins comes in, bowls outside the leg stump. Is there a glove from Cook?
No.
The keeper goes up, but umpire Erasmus is completely impassive. And the wicketkeeper is probably looking a bit sheepish. Yeah, he is looking a bit sheepish. So that's just a dot ball.
Knuckle Pounder says it's worth pointing out that we're using the pink Duke, and all the previous day night tests have used pink Kookaburra. Brathwaite. So, yeah, it's true.
Yes, the ultra shows nothing on Cook's bat.
Presumably the day night round of county games here was a Duke, wasn't it?
It was. This one's short and outside the off stump. Cook doesn't time it all that well, but he finds the gap through cover, and I think he's got enough on it to hit the boundary. It does. It's one of these.
2 + 2 is the remember.
That's the 15th boundary of the England innings, which is pretty good before lunch on the first day. Or I say before lunch, before the first interval on the first day. That was short and wide. It sat up quite nicely. Cook didn't really time it, but he got enough of the bat on it to get him 4 runs.
It doesn't really make any difference to us because we watch cricket at such weird hours of the day and night anyway that it could just be a game from abroad somewhere.
From South Africa or the West Indies or Hastings or the Philippines. That's a line from a song. One night in Bangkok. That one's just pushed a point, no run.
It's Hastings.
This could be Hastings or the Philippines or this place.
Oh, really?
He says.
Wow.
Murray Head from the